We are now in Hosh Nasri area in the Eastern Ghouta countryside of the capital Damascus. This area has been recently taken by the Syrian army during a wide-scale offensive. At this point, thousands of civilians are gathering today to evacuate their areas in Eastern Ghouta. The evacuation of civilians have been called for by the government for a long time, but as the Syrian army is advancing in Eastern Ghouta, which is the last threat to the capital Damascus, thousands of people are leaving toward government-controlled areas, toward government-run shelters. Yesterday, around 12,000 people left. Today, so far, more than 2,000 people left their areas in Eastern Ghouta. Now, this is the gathering point of the people. As we can see families, men, women, and children. They are assembling here at this point to be later transported by buses to government-run shelters. This is a massive evacuation from Eastern Ghouta. As we can see the people who have been living in rebel-held areas for 6 years. Now they are out and they are seeking safety in shelters outside their battle zone. As we can see, women, children, all looking tired, are gathering today, waiting for their turn to get on the bus and go to a shelter where they can find some rest from the battles. يعطيك العافية يا حجة. انت حضرتك من وين؟
من اوتايا.
اوتايا. شو حاسه اليوم انت وطالعه من هونيك؟
والله فرحتي ما اعطيتها لحدا يا حبيبي. ابني صار لي 8 سنين ما شفته. ان شاء الله هلا نلتقي فيه.
She's from the town of Otaya, also in Eastern Ghouta, and she's out today. She said that her happiness is indescribable. She's going to be reunited with her son, which she hasn't seen for 8 years. يعطيك العافية. The battles in Eastern Ghouta have been ongoing since late last month, and the evacuation of civilians, as we have said, is part of granting them safety as the situation in Eastern Ghouta is intensifying. The government has previously accused the rebels of preventing civilians from leaving. But as the Syrian army advanced and captured over 62 or 70% of Eastern Ghouta, the civilians have found ways to leave, as the army would open humanitarian corridors in each place they enter so that they can give the civilians a chance to leave. We can see most of those people are women and children. The number of children is high. يعطيك العافية يا حجي. حضرتك من وين؟ من وين من جوا؟ من وين حضرتك؟
من الميلان.
شلون كان وضعكم جوا؟
وضع معلم.
هلا أنت كيف حاسس لما طالع؟
حاسس أمان وراحة.
مرتاح هلا حاسس؟ Okay, so he's also from a town inside Eastern Ghouta. He could only describe his feelings as feeling safe, which has been taken for granted in many places, but for those people it's all that they have dreamed of. يعطيك العافية. حضرتك من وين من جوا من غوطة؟
أنا من حوش الظواهرة من هون.
حوش الظواهرة. كيف حاسس هلا أنت اليوم جاي لهون؟
والله الحمد لله اليوم بخير، لأنه إحنا كنا بعربين وطلعنا من عربين لهون.
كيف الوضع جوا انت ووضعكم كمدنيين وهلا كيف حاسين؟
هلا مرتاحين كثير. اما الوضع كان تعبان كثير جوا. لا يخلونا نطلع ولا يخلونا نفوت بنوب قطعه.
من جوا
من جوا
المسلحين؟
اي والله.
He said that the rebels prevented them from leaving before and that now they are feeling a bit safe. شو بتحلم بالمستقبل؟ بتحلم ترجع على بيتك؟ شو
لكن بحلم ارجع على بيتي لان انا مالي مستقبل غير بيتي وارضي وبلدنا هي سوريا.
He's dreaming of returning to his house one day to his land because he said that his house is all he's got. يعطيك العافية. As we have mentioned before, thousands of people, thousands of families are leaving Eastern Ghouta. They have been pouring out of the rebel-held areas since yesterday in large numbers. Yesterday, more than 12,000 people left. Today, over 2,000 have so far left. We can see people with medical conditions, leaving. This is all as a result of the government forces' advancement in Eastern Ghouta. They are opening roads for people to flee. Most of those people are accusing the rebels of preventing them from leaving before, but now, as the army have taken 70% of Eastern Ghouta, people are more free to leave and to seek safety in shelters here in the capital. Actually, this large number of people has been able to come out from Eastern Ghouta after 7 years of war. They have been locked in that area for so long. Many of them haven't even visited the capital for 7 years. يعطيك العافية. حضرتك من وين؟
حوش ظواهرة.
من حوش ظواهرة. كيف الوضع هلا حاسه؟ بعد ما طلعتوا من جوا؟
والله اختلف علينا كثير الحمد لله.
هلا انتم ناطرين تروحوا لوين؟
نعم.
لوين ناطرين تروحوا
على اساس على عدن.
على عدن. كيف احساسكم اليوم؟
والله مرتاحين كثير الحمد لله، مرتاحين كثير والله بوجود الجيش العربي السوري مرتاحين كثير الحمد لله.
الحياة جوا كيف شوي كانت؟
والله حياة صعبة، موت.
انت صار لك تقريبا 7 سنين ما طلعت على العاصمة لبرا؟
ما طلعنا ايه.
شو بتتخيلوا على دمشق لما بتسمعوا عنا؟ صار لك 7 سنين ما نزلت، شو مشتاق أكثر شيء تروح؟
نعم.
شو مشتاق أكثر شيء تزوره بالشام؟
والله كل الأماكن، والله عم نحلم حلم إنه نروح عليها بس ما حصلنا، وهذا اللي صار.
He's also from a place in Eastern Ghouta. He said that he hasn't been able to visit the capital, the city of Damascus, for so long. And he said that they miss every place in Damascus that they want to visit once they are out of here. Okay, as we move further, we can see crowds and crowds of people all over the place. All of them are dreaming of safety. All of them are dreaming of safety out of the battle zones. يعطيك العافية. حضرتك من وين؟ من جوا من الغوطة؟ من أي منطقة؟
زينة.
كيف وضعكم جوا وهلا شو حاسة؟
هلا حاسة بالفرحة كثير لأنه أنقذونا من جوا، كثير كنا جوعانين جوا، كثير علينا قاسيين علينا كثير، أولادنا مثل ما أنك شايف لا لباس لا أكل لا شرب. نشكر بشار الأسد، نشكر عناصر اللي طلعونا من الموت.
She's saying that they have been living in a very tough situation inside with no food, with no proper living conditions. Her children are apparently suffering from the life inside. She's also accusing the rebels of preventing them from eating or from distributing enough food to them, and now that they are feeling more safe. شو امنياتك انت لبكره؟ شو بتحلمي؟
أنا بحلم بعيش وإنه أولادي بسلام وامان وبياكلوا بس اكلوا وشرب يعني يعيشوا بسلام وامان. هذا عيش
She's dreaming of living in peace and security and for her children to have food. يعطيك العافية. Eastern Ghouta is a sprawling region, largely agricultural region in the eastern countryside of Damascus. It's estimated at 100 square kilometers, constituting of several towns and villages. This area is the last remaining threat to the capital after the army liberated most of the surroundings of the capital, the north and the west. Now Eastern Ghouta is the large remaining threat to the capital, and the government forces are fighting to regain that area. يعطيك العافية. انت بمدرسة ولا عم تدرسي؟
لا عطل اسم. لا عطل اسم لانه حاملين اغراض فيها الشركه.
هي اغراض انت الدراسة حاطة في اغراضك.
حتى اواعي ملابسي.
جوا كنت في دراسة ولا لا؟
ما كان في.
هذه دراسه بالمره.
قديش صار لها مقطوعة عن المدرسة؟
هاي السنه كلها ما داومنا فيها يومين وعطلنا. وباقي الايام كمان باقي السنوات نحن ما درسناها منيح ولا فهمناها كمان.
She said that she's been out of education mostly for the past 6 years, but in the last year she was completely out of school. I was asking her about her school bag, and she said that it doesn't contain books, but it puts some of her belongings in her school bag. شو أمنياتكم لبكرة؟ شو أمنياتك؟ شو تتمنى؟
والله بتمنى يصير كل شيء. امنياتنا انه صار امان. صار امان. امان واستقرار الحمد لله. هلا ارتحنا. الله يحميهم يا رب.
He said that all of they dreamed of was to live in safety, and the woman over there, she said that they have been without food for 3 days. اليوم طلعتي انت من جوا؟
نعم.
اليوم طلعتي من جوا؟
اليوم تحت يا لطيف طلعت ضليت 3 ايام ما شفت شيء بالمرة، اطفالي بلا اكل.
She said she's been living in a very tough situation over the past 3 days. She haven't seen anything. She said her children have been living without food for 3 days, and they are expressing gratitude for the Syrian army for saving them and for bringing them to safety. So as we have seen so far, all of the people here are dreaming of safety, of living in peace. Even though the situation now is not ideal, but the feeling, the sense of safety is all they care about. So the crowd over there is waiting for their turn, for their paper to be processed, and for their turn to get on the bus, while this crowd over here is already on standby as they are waiting to march forward to the buses. We can see several green buses over there. They are being filled with people who are going to government-run shelters, either here in the nearby Adra area or in a place called Dwair, which both of them are actually close to the humanitarian corridors that have been opened recently for the evacuation of civilians, for the people who are fleeing their areas over there. شو طالع على الباص هلا انت؟ كيف وضع؟ كيف هلا حاسس؟ شو كنت بتحلم انت وجوا؟ شو امنياتك كانت؟
انه نرجع هيك للامل للغوطه ونرجع بلادنا ان شاء الله.
He's also excited about being safe after years of war. كيف وضعكم كان وهلا كيف حاسه؟
عايشين بجحيم. الحمد لله كنا عايشين بجحيم وهلا الله هيك فرج علينا الحمد لله رب العالمين.
كيف وضع اولادك؟ انت كيف تدبري لهم اكل؟
مش فاهمين، صرنا 3 ايام بلا اكل وبلا خبز. الحمد لله رب العالمين.
لوين ما طلعتوا وصلتوا لهون؟
ايه والله.
ضليتكم 3 ايام عم تحاولوا تطلعوا ولا قبل؟
ايه والله من 3 ايام.
She said that they have been trying to evacuate to leave their areas in Eastern Ghouta for 3 days, which the situation is very complicated and difficult there. And she also spoke the same that they haven't had any food over the past 3 days. And we can see her little girl here. She's having some bread. يعطيك العافية.
الله يعافيك.
قد ايه صار لك عم تحاول تطلع من الغوطة؟
والله 4 سنين.
4 سنين عم تحاول.
والله العظيم.
وكل محاولاتك فشلت.
والله ما بيخلونا نطلع. الله
وكيل. شو بتعتقد السبب ليه؟ بده اياكم شو؟
متخبين فينا. عم يتخبوا فينا.
كم ولد عندك بركة؟
عندي هذا ما عندي غير.
This father, he has only one son. He said that he has been trying to leave Eastern Ghouta, the rebel-held areas in Eastern Ghouta for 4 years, but he said he couldn't. He said that the rebels were preventing them, and he added that they were using the people as a human shield, as he described, and that they were protecting behind the civilians.
المعلم امشي.
So if we take a look at the people here, we can see from their faces the amount of awareness and the amount of suffering that they have been subject to. We can see their dusted faces and their shabby clothes.
اول مره اشوفهم في الفيلم.
بالله
لا بس هذا
كل شوي عندك كلياتها موجود ولا هلا عم دور لسه على اخي لسه عم دور على يلا تفضل يا قاعد ابو شو اسمه؟ مراب حسن وابوك اسمه احمد زكريا. احمد زكريا اثنين انتم اليوم لما تواصلنا الاطفال من الجيش العربي السوري. الله يسلمك.
يعطيك العافية. شو سمعنا انه انتم ابو وابنه؟
نعم.
قد ايه صار لك مشايفه؟
3 سنين.
انت عسكري وهو
نعم.
So this is a father and his son. They haven't seen each other for 7 years. The son is a soldier in the Syrian army and the father was locked in inside Eastern Ghouta. كيف شعورك بعد ما شفته بعد 3 سنين؟
شعور لا يوصف. اكتمل مع النصر، اكتمل كمان لسه.
نعم. He has indescribable feelings of happiness because he has reunited with his father. شو كان شعورك انتم بعاد عن بعض؟
شعور لا
انتوا تحكوا مع بعض ولا بعيد؟
لا كمان زياده ما كنت
لا حكي لا تليفون.
كان يمنعوا منا الجوال لانه كنا مسلحين انه كان
ابنه عسكري.
He hasn't been able to contact his father for 7 years because the rebels would prevent the father from using a cell phone or mobile phone. هن بيعرفوا انه كنت انت ابنه عسكري؟
نعم وتعرض لكذا إهانة.
He has been insulted several times because they knew that his son was a soldier. هلا كيف حاسس هلا؟
هلا انا حاسس الشعور لا يوصف.
وشو عم تعمل هلا انتوا؟ في حدا لسه ما شفته؟
لسه في اهل لسه عم دور عليه ولسه رجعوا ان شاء الله تعالى.
من عائلتك اخواتك ولا عائله كبيره؟
اخي لا من عائلته واخواتي.
And the soldier now is waiting, is searching actually for his brother to see him after he found his father. يعطيكم العافيه. Oh, this woman over there, she's fainting. She's fainting from the long trip out of Eastern Ghouta. Her family are trying to support her, and they're trying to make her feel better after the long suffering she has endured for the trip out of Eastern Ghouta to reach here. So as we have mentioned, all of these people are waiting for their turn to get on the bus and to go to a shelter to relax after 3 days of strenuous efforts to leave their areas and to seeking safety. Around 100 people in each bus, because this large number of people wasn't expected to leave in such a short notice. Thousands are leaving, so it needs some preparation. So as we have mentioned before, thousands of people are fleeing their areas in Eastern Ghouta, which is under the rebel control. Of course, the evacuation of civilians, of thousands of civilians, is taking place after the Syrian army advanced in Eastern Ghouta and captured over 70% of that area, opening humanitarian corridors for the people to leave. And once those humanitarian corridors were open, once the Syrian army advanced, actually, the people fled those areas, speaking about their tough lives for the past 6 years. Families have been separated. People haven't seen the capital city for a long, long time. Now, for the first time, they are able to live in safety and to have a normal life, sort of a normal life again, after the long years of living under the rebel-held areas in Eastern Ghouta.